Hello everyone and welcome to the Deep Stone Crypt Raid. I've decided to split up this raid into a few separate videos for each encounter so that it's easier for me to manage. If you're looking for the raid collectibles or other triumphs, I won't be covering those in this video, so make sure to check the description for a playlist containing those guides. In the first part, I'll be covering the Pike section, the first secret chest, and the first real encounter, so let's jump into it. The opening to the raid offers each of your fireteam members a pike, although your sparrow is also an option, that you'll use to navigate through this wasteland to find heat bubbles. The goal is to get from bubble to bubble so that you can stay out of the freezing cold and avoid getting frostbite, which is a debuff that if it reaches times 10 will kill you. Getting into the bubble gives you shelter from the storm, which quickly removes these stacks of frostbite. Captains and other fallen will attack you at each bubble, and when you reach the final one, they'll send fallen brigs. This is not a darkness zone, so players can freely self-res throughout. This encounter is pretty similar to the lamp encounter in Crota's End, except unlike the lamps, you can remain at each bubble for as long as you please without penalty. The course itself is pretty straightforward, you just look for lights sticking out of the ground to find your way to the next heat bubble. Just use the footage in this video and follow where I'm going if you get lost. At the very end of this Pike section, there is a secret chest you can get by taking a right before entering the exit doorway. Quickly climb up the rocks and open the chest at the top before the frostbite kills you. This chest can actually be gotten completely solo, but like the Garden of Salvation chests, they will only reward you with raid drops that you've already earned, and of course they are once per week per character. They do drop the new Deep Stone Crypt Raid mods as well, and the raid currency Spoils of Conquest, which can be used at the end of the raid or to buy old raid exotics from the exotic archive in the tower. Crypt Security is the first real encounter of this raid. Here there are overload captains, so I would advise bringing something to stagger them, as they're really the only big threat here. The goal of the first encounter is to lower the shields protecting the giant fuses in the middle of the area and destroy them in a specific order. These fuses are the 3 big tubes on either side of the dividing wall between the light and dark rooms, so 6 in total that you have to destroy. In order to get to damaging these fuses, you'll need an operator and a scanner, which are 2 augments or roles that your team needs to master. The red operator augment allows you to shoot things that other people cannot, and the yellow scanner augment allows you to see things that other people cannot. These augments can be passed to other teammates by using what is called an augment station. When an augment is put into a station, it can be taken out from any other station in the encounter. But once an augment is deposited, you can't insert another one until that one is taken out first. The way this first encounter works is in the underground section of this area there are 10 panels that look like this. And these panels can only be shot by a player with the operator augment. Above ground are windows that let you see into the underground area. The player with the scanner augment can look through the windows in the floor and will be able to see which panels are glowing yellow, which the operator then needs to shoot. There are 10 underground panels in total, but only 4 will be active at a time. 2 underneath the light side and 2 underneath the dark side. If the operator shoots all 4 quick enough, this will begin the damage phase, which we'll cover in a little bit. To begin, you'll want to split up so that there are 2 players responsible for killing enemies on both light and dark sides. Then assign 1 player as the operator and another as the initial scanner. While the operator can pick their augment up from one of the initial stations, the scanner will need to get their augment from killing a vandal that's carrying it, which will spawn on a random side pretty early on in the fight. Once the scanner gets their augment, they'll start looking through the floor and finding the 2 glowing panels on their side. If the doors are locked between the sides, the scanner should pass their augment to the opposite side using an augment station, so that someone else can take over the role. If you are unable to deposit your augment to pass it to the other side, it is because servitors have spawned. You should always defeat the servitors as soon as they spawn to make sure the stations remain active. As for what callouts to use to communicate which panels the operator should shoot, Our team originally numbered the panels 1 through 10 clockwise around the room, but it would be much easier to split them up into left 1 through 5 and right 1 through 5. This map from Raid Secrets is of the underground section and is oriented as if you were the operator walking down the stairs heading into the basement. Whoever is your operator and your scanner should get familiar with the locations of each panel and how it looks from through the windows before you begin. What I would highly recommend is having your operator wait until the panels are found before opening the downstairs section, because if you spend too long underground without beginning the damage phase, the entire room gets set on fire and you'll die. Using the 1 to 10 callout method, our team would wait until all 4 panels were found before sending the operator downstairs to shoot them. When all 4 glowing panels have been shot, the damage phase will begin. At this point, the operator should deposit their augment into the station underground so that a player from above can grab it. Then the scanner from above sends their augment downstairs for the underground player to grab. The player underground will need this scanner augment in order to see which fuses their team should be damaging. On the central pillar underground, there will be 3 fuses on the right and 3 fuses on the left, corresponding to the big ones upstairs. The scanner underground should watch both sides to find the one that's glowing yellow, and communicate this to the team above. If the glowing fuse is on the right side, remember that's light, and if it's on the left side, remember that's dark. The easiest way to call out which fuse is glowing is to just say left, middle, or right on either light side or dark side. So if the player downstairs sees the middle fuse glowing yellow and it's on the right side, they would say light middle. This would tell the players upstairs that they should only damage the middle fuse in the light side of the room. The scanner that's downstairs should be moving quickly back and forth, checking both sides of the pillar after each fuse is destroyed, because it's common for the glowing fuse to go back and forth from side to side, even though the order is always randomized. The easiest way to complete this in a single phase is by having 2 players from the damage team cover one group of fuses, while the remaining 3 players on the damage team covers the other group. This will minimize the amount of running back and forth the damage team has to do. The best weapons for the damage phase here are Xenophage, 1000 Voices, heavy grenade launchers, shotguns, basically anything with very high burst damage. On day 1, we also used Heir Apparent, but that might be too slow for a 1 phase now. If you don't destroy all of the fuses by the end of this first damage phase, the underground player should send the scanner back up, while the new operator makes their way downstairs. Both the player that is exiting the underground area and the player that is going to be entering it can hang out in the operator tunnel for a little bit until the fuses are found if your scanner is having trouble finding them quickly. The new operator must fully enter the underground section before the other player can exit, which they'll do by standing in close proximity to the exit doors. Once you are back to having 1 scanner upstairs and 1 operator downstairs, you'll just repeat all the previous steps until you get to damage phase again, and hopefully it won't take you more than 2 phases. To summarize the entire encounter very quickly, have 1 player get the operator from the station while 1 player gets scanner from a vandal. The scanner should look through the floor and call out the 4 panels, 2 on each side that the operator needs to shoot. If the doors are closed, they should pass the scanner buff to the other side of the room via the station. The operator then goes down and shoots the 4 panels beginning the damage phase, and passes their operator augment upstairs so that they can get the scanner augment downstairs. And finally, the underground player will use the scanner augment to call out which fuses to damage. That should be everything you need to know to beat the first encounter, Crypt Security. I will see you guys in the next part 2 for Encounter 2, Atrax 1 Fallen Exo.